Hi guys, we're here. Elvis Presley fan on keto, and wow, Pat, the first member. Guys, it really does mean a lot to me that we get some members on here. It's only $3 to join, but it means everything to me. This is our new channel. This channel is very important to me. So Pat, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Right, let's give a chance for people to join us, to come on. So Linda's just messaged me saying she can't make it. She's going to be on later. Linda, we'll see you later. Yeah. So I want to watch this so we can see your comments. Hi, Teresa. See, Teresa, you found us. Well done. Oh, I don't, and Tony, just keep trying. I don't know. I don't know how it works. I know it's working because Pat joined. But guys, thank you so much. Seriously, anyone that joins this channel, it does matter to me. Very, very kind of you. I think Elizabeth's trying to join as well. So, our topic is Anita Wood. We're doing Elvis. We're doing Elvis. Yeah? Our topic is Anita Wood. Okay? So, I've got the book. What I thought, this is the book that is most favoured by us. So far that we've read this book. So I've decided we're going to start reading it from when she meets Elvis. I wasn't going to go through all the family stuff. So now we can't read it word for word. We have to do it in a way that we are reviewing it. So let's get to the point. But before I do that, I'm going to play some of her video. So let's give you guys a bit of a chance to join. Right, let's get to the point. I want to go from when she meets Elvis. Okay? Anita Wood. Now, we all love Anita Wood, don't we? Okay. The infamous first date. Chapter 2. We're going to read bits of it. Now, there's a beautiful picture of Anita Wood. She's stunning, man. I'll tell you what, I fancy Anita Wood. She is lovely. Right. My wife would tell me off, but... Okay. So, we're going to play some of her interview. We're going to play some of Anita Wood's interview, just discussing Elvis. We're going to stop and start, and then we're going to read some of this. And then I got to go and walk the dogs. Are we ready? Here we go, guys. So... let's do it.
1957, I was on Top 10 Dance Party on WHPQ radio television in Memphis at the time, and it was a...
So remember, Anita Wood, a beautiful woman, a stunning woman, a brilliant dancer, a brilliant singer, a very, very talented lady, and famous in her own right. She was helping to, I forget his name now. She was co-hosting a pop show. She'll say his name now, I think. So famous in her own right, guys.
A popular dance show that they had every Saturday afternoon. The teenagers would come and dance, and Wink Martindale and I would introduce the songs and the people and the children, the teenagers that were there. And he watched that show a lot. And one Saturday after the show, he had Lamar Fike call me on the phone, and he...
Okay, so we're getting a feel. Lamar Fike, Elvis gets him to call her and ask her to meet her on a date.
He wanted a date to see me that night.
You know that
Oh.
I'll always be.
He had just made Loving You when I met him. And he had this shirt on, these
Right,
black
I just leave it
trousers,
playing.
and
I'm going to
he had
answer the phone, okay?
like a motorcycle cap on, and he was very handsome.
Hello?
I mean, I have to say that Elvis
You know
was
that if you
the
ring me,
most
I'm
handsome
probably
man
like,
I've
"Better
ever
press the
seen.
button."
Before or after, I've never seen anybody as handsome as he. He was just very good looking, you know. And then as I got to meet him and know him, he had a very good personality. Funny, pulling pranks and laughing. When they drove up in the Cadillac, they had a big, long Cadillac, and Elvis was driving. So I got in the car and sat on my side of the seat because in those days, that's what you did. And so then Elvis started driving around, and after a while he said, are you trying to knock that door out over there? And I said, no, so let's go door just a little bit. Not very far, but just a little bit. And we would go to his house many times, and we would watch TV, listen to music. He would invite the people up from down at the gate, which were a bunch of fans, crazy girls, you know. And here I was up here, his date, and these girls would just, man, they were falling all over him, wanting to sit in his lap and everything. I really did not like that because I was his date.
Oh, sorry guys, let's make a phone call.
He was so secretive back in those days.
So obviously I just love the way she talks about Elvis. I love it. It's like, it's so endearing. Whenever I watch Anita Wood, I always think, God, she really loved Elvis.
And he always said it was because of Colonel Tom Parker, you know. He didn't want us to take any pictures, and if I was ever with him and there was a picture made, I would look down or try to look away, you know, from the camera, and not to...
Yeah, so Colonel Tom Parker had this thing where he just didn't want to see Elvis getting pictured with other women. I think Colonel Tom Parker wanted it to feel like Elvis was still single. I think Colonel Tom Parker was under the impression that Elvis would make more money, sell more records if he's known as a single man. Do we agree with that?
Appear to be too happy because he didn't want everybody to know our real relationship, you know, that we really cared for one another. He wanted to be more like, we were just girlfriend and boyfriend and we're just dating. And then he would always come to me and say, but Little, you know, that's not really true. You're just the only one for me. You know, these are just publicity stunts. It doesn't mean anything. You're the only one I care anything about. And he had a way that he could convince you that's true. I'm telling you.
So, come on, guys, you know, we love Elvis. But I honestly believe that Elvis, when in his early years of becoming famous, even just before he was famous, come on, he was a typical man in his late teens, early 20s. He kept his options open. He loved women. He loved the attention he was getting. He was adored by the most beautiful women. And as much as he liked Anita, and she's lovely, Anita is lovely, she's beautiful. I really think Anita would have been a great wife for Elvis. A really decent, well brought up girl with really good morals. A decent, innocent, sweet girl that you could really trust. But she also had her own money, her own talent.
On the grounds at Graceland,
Phone me until I got to. Yeah, what time you got to?
Roman candle fights in the backyard that were just scary as everything at each other. I mean, they had no fear, Elvis included, right in the middle of them. Oh man, and we sat and watched this, fighting with each other, at each other, you know, with these Roman candles, right at each other. Man. Sometimes we would get on the motorcycle, just Elvis and I, and ride through Memphis.
You know, and I've read this, guys, a few times. He just loved riding around on the motorbike, driving around in the car, around Memphis. That was one of his passions.
The things we did here. And then when he went to New Orleans for King Crow, you know, he would always invite me down there for a spell, and in California.
And even that, she went and visited him whilst he was doing the filming of King Creole.
For a spell. The first time I went out there, he was staying at the Beverly Wilshire Hotel, I believe. And I remember Ricky Nelson came up one night, and some other...
Oh, I'm definitely a big fan of Ricky Nelson, guys.
People, I do remember him, but even in California, we did a lot of driving around. It was wild.
I love her accent. We did a lot of driving around.
He thought, as I thought, that things that went on out there were things that went on in hell. I mean, really, it was just the wildest place we'd ever seen.
The way she says that, things that went, she opens, her eyes go wide. Things that went out there were things that went on in hell.
He wanted his family and his friends around him. He felt a stranger. He just loved Memphis better. He liked being in Graceland.
Yeah, and I genuinely believe that. Elvis felt best, felt most at home at Graceland. Doesn't matter what home he lived in. I've always felt that he only bought other homes to keep Priscilla happy. But ultimately, he loved being in Memphis. He loved being in Graceland. He was uncomfortable anywhere else. I really believe that.
1957 was a pivotal year for Elvis Presley. In April, All Shook Up reached #1 on Billboard's Top 100 chart. In October, Jailhouse Rock premiered in Memphis to a sold-out crowd.
Everybody in wholesale block was down to do.
In the Jailhouse Rock. Now I have to butt into the music, otherwise it will get copyrighted. So if I cut into it, we can dispute it and then they let me have it.
And in December, Elvis received his draft notice from the United States Army.
Now I've heard they had to register for the draft before they were 18. They had to register for the draft.
It was a change that would jeopardize his career and affect his life forever.
He would meet Priscilla. He would meet Priscilla. Da, da, da.
No one took that news harder than Elvis's mother, Gladys.
I remember them getting the notice, and I remember his mother's reaction. She was devastated, scared, sad.
You know, I've always wondered why Gladys took it so hard, because Elvis would have let Gladys move over. Obviously, she went there for basic training at Fort Hood, I can't remember the name now. She was visiting him regularly at basic training. But when he eventually went to Germany, in Bad Neuheim, he just rented a house and they could all go and stay there. So I've always wondered why she was so worried about Elvis joining the army, even though she would have lived with him through that period. Did she not understand that there was no war? That this was, you know, in peacetime? I've always understood, why did it bother her, Gladys, so much when she would have been with him, cooking for him and looking after him in Germany? I don't get it.
Many weekends,
Fort Hood.
Elvis would have time away from Fort Hood. We would drive over to Eddie Fidel's house in Waco, Texas. And they were so nice, and they just loved Elvis, and they just had a room there that they dedicated to him, and that he could go and just do anything he wanted to do. I remember one time we went there.
How beautiful she is there. Guys, let's really look at that. If there's any men watching, that is a sexy, beautiful woman. Look at her.
And they had a birthday cake. I think it might have been my birthday. It was in May. And they sang the song, and I got him to dance with me. You know, he didn't like to dance.
And I tell you what, they look so good together. They're such a beautiful couple.
He was singing that song, Happy Birthday, Baby, Happy Birthday. They would always fix good food for us to eat. And
I always think this, when I watch Elvis, I think this is, what year was it? 58, was it? 57, 58? I always think, I always just think, that was when he was happiest. Things felt simpler. When Elvis first became famous, tell me what year that was, guys, I'm not sure. But when Elvis first became famous, I don't think fame had affected him that much. I think he just was loving it. He was loving being Elvis. I think you still get a sense of the real Elvis. 56, 7, 58, 59. I think those years, you still get a real sense of him. When you see him with June Junico on the fishing trip, on the fishing boat, on that beautiful sunny day, I think that was 56, is it? You still get a feel for Elvis, a real sense of what he was like as a teenager in his early 20s. And this look on his face where he's giving the camera a grin, that's Elvis. That's Elvis. That's the Elvis that the world fell in love with. Cheeky, funny, beautiful, handsome, obviously extremely talented. Just his body language was fantastic. The way he moved his face and just the way he walked. Everything about Elvis from, I think, in 55, 6, 7. Amazing. Amazing, guys.
things that Elvis liked. It was just a place to get away from the army.
While visiting Elvis at his hotel, Anita stumbled across a memento from Germany.
See, look, they're quickly showing GI Blues, and that's obviously Juliet Prowse. I think Elvis, even though Anita couldn't visit Germany, obviously we know Elvis meets Priscilla there in 59. But I do think when Elvis goes back to America in '60 and does the Frank Sinatra show, makes GI Blues with Juliet Prowse, Frank Sinatra's ex-girlfriend, when he comes and does the Frank Sinatra show, we know that Nancy meets him. Nancy Sinatra gives him a gift from Frank Sinatra, a silk shirt. I do think when Elvis came back to Memphis, made some albums for RCA Victor, I do think that him and Anita were still a bit on off, weren't they, guys? It was still going on early 1961 and 2, I think.
Found one letter when I was in California, and it was pressed in a book in the...
Right, so here we go. Is this the cause of the breakup, where she finds a letter, and then later she overhears conversation, Vernon and Elvis talking, Elvis trying to make up his mind, Priscilla or Anita. I've always thought Elvis made a mistake and he should have chosen Anita. I've also always thought that Anita shouldn't have walked out that day. She should have fought for her man. I really believe that. How many of you think that? Put it in the comments, guys. Should have Anita would have stuck it out and fought for her man. I really think she should have. Now, I know she went on to have a lovely life, a brilliant life, but Elvis's life would have been so different if he had married Anita Wood.
Library outside of his bedroom. And when he came home from the set that day, then that's when I asked him about the letter. And in the letter it said, please call my dad. I want to come over there. And if you call my dad, I know he will let me come. He will listen to you. I miss you. I want to come bad. He just kept on like that.
Do you imagine how gutting that was? Gutting. It's out the bag. She knows about Priscilla.
You know? So when he came in, I said, what is this letter? Who is this? This Priscilla? You said she was just a child. He got so mad because I found the letter. He took me and he shoved me up against the closet. So mad at me, just livid. And as I was coming...
I think all of us fans, Elvis fans, are a little bit gutted that they didn't give it a try, get together, try a bit longer, try a bit harder to save what they had, because what they had was special. I'm not sure exactly how long they'd been seeing each other for, but I think since 1957, was it late 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, maybe part of 62. It's just sad, guys.
Coming down the back stairs into the kitchen, I heard Elvis say, I'm having the hardest time making up my mind between the two. And so I just marched my little self right down.
So I see the pride. Now I see the pride kicking in. Right, I don't want to be second best. He should want me anyway. I've held out for him. She was a virgin. She held out for Elvis. She wanted marriage. They had already planned the names. If it was a boy of the baby, if they had had a boy, it would have been called Elvis Presley Jr. If it was a girl, it was going to be called Lisa Marie, believe it or not. I do think at one point they were definitely going to get married. I really believe that. It was definitely on the cards. I really believe Anita honestly thought that one day they would marry. So she put up with his philandering. And she used to think, I think, he's mine. No matter what I read in the papers or in the magazines, or see on the movies, he's mine. He's mine. One day he'll be mine. But then she finds the letter and she just, for whatever reason, who knows the real reason? There were many reasons, I would say. If you read the book, obviously we're going to read it. We can't read it now because my wife's just rung me. I've got to take my son to football. But we're going to have to come back for a part 2 to read the book, which is fine. I'm looking forward to it. I still think she should have stuck it out. She should have stuck it out. All of you here are agreeing Anita Wood should have fought for her man. I can see Elizabeth and a few of you are saying that. I've heard Anita, I agree with Tony. When Anita walked, it broke Elvis's heart. I read that he was crying when she walked down the path. away from him. He was crying, he was in tears. So maybe this was one of his lifelong regrets, looking back on his life, you know, regretting that he didn't do the right thing by Anita Wood. She deserved it. She was a classy, decent, elegant, beautiful, talented, smart, lovely person. Seriously, guys. I've only got a couple of minutes. I've got to take my son. I want to come back and start reading chapter 2 of this book, Once Upon a Time with Elvis and Anita. So we are on the next live stream that we do on Elvis Presley Fan on Keto. We're going to read chapter 2 because that's when they meet and go on their first dates. Let's just play a bit more of this.
The stairs, and Elvis took me into the dining room, and we sat down at the table, and I said, I'm going to make that decision for you. I heard what you said, and I'm leaving. And I remember that I started crying. It was a very difficult decision to make.
Oh, could you imagine being a fly on the wall for that, guys?
And I was crying, and Elvis was crying.
It makes me want to cry. I want to cry. That's how emotional it is.
And he just said, I pray to God I'm doing the right thing by letting you go.
Well, I'm not so sure you think so. No, well, I do. I think you
Oh. So this is the phone call, innit, guys? I know it's quite a long phone call. This is probably a shortened version of it. I've even got them singing together, guys. It's so sad.
Do you have a girlfriend out there? Do I have? Yes. Well, I mean, do you have a special one? I know you have several. Oh, hell, let me see. I'm not getting mad about it. There you go, getting mad. I'm not. Well, I'm not being silly, Elvis. I mean, that's just... I don't have any. Let's just face it. I don't have any. You mean you don't go out with a single girl out there? No. Why, Elvis? I'm
Why, Elvis?
surprised you. I don't. I thought you liked girls. I do. Well, why don't you go out with them?
I think he doesn't know what to say, does he? He's like, I don't, I do, I do, I do.
Okay. Well, you do anyway. I just haven't. There's one thing that I just can't stand. You know what that is? What? For you to tell me a story about something. Well. You're always getting to me about telling you stories. I know, but you tell me more than I do you.
You tell me more than I do you. He's trying to turn it around now, isn't he? He's trying to go. In a minute, I think he calls her a nag, doesn't he?
Not true? My goodness. Elvis, I've caught you in so many, it's awful.
And I'm with Tony. I understand what Tony's saying. Tony is seeing it from the point of view of poor Anita Wood that has given her heart to Elvis. And sorry, Elvis, but you didn't treat her right. You didn't treat her right. And I love Elvis, but she deserved better. So I'm on Tony's side. She did deserve better.
I have. And the least thing if I were you, I would admit to dating people because I know you are. And it would make me feel so much better if you told me about them.
Teresa, we know that you would never let Elvis go. We know that. I love Elvis. Now, me as a teenager or a man in my early 20s, I wasn't ready to settle. I wasn't ready. So I understand why Elvis does it. He's too young. He's not ready to settle. But he loves her. So he's in a dilemma. He doesn't want to hurt her feelings. He's a good man. He's a kind man. He's a Christian man. But he has the temptation of youth, fame, stardom, adoration. The most famous man in the world, the most beautiful women on the planet are after him. Almost impossible to be faithful. Almost impossible.
And then I wouldn't feel like there was anything there. You know why I don't call you more than do? Mm-hmm. For this very reason right here. Well, I wouldn't do it if you call you more. For this very reason right here, because I can't talk to you, hon. I wouldn't do it. My damn head, man. I mean, I can't count on decent conversation.
He's getting a bit pissy now, isn't he?
Throwing up all kind of shit to me. Listen, Elvis, if you call me... Look, if I called you every damn night, you start bitching about some girl... That's a story, because I wouldn't think there was any girl there.
He's trying to dig himself out of a hole now. Come on, guys. He's trying to dig himself out of a hole.
Just like a nag, that's all. He's just a nagger, that's all. I'm sorry you feel that way about it, but that's the way I feel about it, and you don't have to be that way either. Well, that's the way I am. Not to the extent that you are. You don't have to be that bad. I'm sorry.
And, you know, I feel sorry for her because this would have been in all the tabloids, on all the TV news clips. She would have been listening to all different rumours, and it was tough.
Well, I know you was throwing something up to me. And I ain't got time to hear it. You turn me into a sod talker. You know that? You mean by just fussing at you? Yeah, all the time. You would, because I can't stand it. I can't stand it, Anita. I swear I can't stand it. Roy, if you'd call me and do right, I would. I call you and do right my ass. No, you don't. Call you and do right my ass. If I called you every night, you'd start saying, who'd you see today? That's a lie. You got a girlfriend, I'm surprised you. You said that bullshit. That is a lie. Oh, it ain't no lie. This is the first time I've...
Oh, they're proper having an argument. She's actually being very calm.
Second time I've even brought it up. Oh, you bring it up every time I talk to you. You've talked to me so many times. Oh my goodness, I couldn't count my fingers and toes. It's all been about another week and a half or 10 days.
Oh, she's so beautiful. In this picture, she is beautiful. Elvis looks perfect. You can see Billy Smith in the background. Can you see Billy there? Like,
I know exactly how long it's been, Elvis. You don't realize how long it'll be before I'll be home? I know exactly how much hell for, huh?
yeah, Tony said it. Young love, young love.
I'll be home and I'll be with you when it happens. What? You'll be with me? Yeah. And what do you stop? You know, I'm calling you for. Why can't I talk to you on a decent conversation, huh? Well, if you would call me, it would have been fine. Why don't you be sweet instead of bitching like an old nagging ass?
Old nagging ass.
Why?
I'll
I
finish
can't
now.
stand that. I can't stand it, Anita. You drive me crazy, huh? All right. You get worse all the damn time. That's why I don't talk to you anymore over on the phone.
Oh my God, guys, I gotta go. I'm taking my son to football now, but I laughed, but it was serious, wasn't it? Her heart was broken. She just loves Elvis. She doesn't want to lose him. He's trying to sort of get himself out of a hole, out of a rut. He does love her. You can tell he loves her because he's so passionate. But guys, anyway, guys, I gotta go. Now a new channel. So on this channel, you can become members. It's $3. I'd love it if some of you joined up. I would love it. It's the usual. You can buy a coffee. You can do a super thank you. All that stuff is on this channel. I'd love you guys to be members. Okay, gotta go. All the best. See you later. I don't think I'll be back on tonight. But when I do come back on, we are going to read chapter 2 of Once Upon a Time, Elvis and Anita. We're going to carry on talking about Anita. This is one of my favourite books. Definitely. I love this book. I'm looking forward to reading it. The way we will read it, we won't do it word for word. We'll read bits. We'll talk about it. And we'll read some bits more. That way, we won't get in trouble with YouTube. Okay? Thanks, guys. Sending you all love. Thanks to everyone, Elizabeth and Tony. And anyone else that's joined us here. Teresa, Debbie, Elizabeth, I said that, I think. Pat. I know a lot of you will watch this later on. So thanks, guys. Have a great day. Check you out. See you later.